So let's have a conversation about the 5 illusions of manhood. You see, during the research for this book, A New Conversation with Men, I found that there were 5 illusions that cause the majority of pain and suffering in a man's life. And these 5 illusions, I can assure you, are the reason that your life may not be working. And it isn't until a man wakes up from these illusions that he can live an extraordinary life. So let's go over the 5 illusions of manhood, and then we'll talk about ways to wake up from these illusions. So illusion number 1, and this is the most powerful illusion of them all. And illusion number 1 is, to be a man, you must be non-emotional and disconnected. You see, we live in a society and culture that says for men, it's not okay for us to feel. We've been taught that feelings are for women or females. And if a man decides to express how he feels, he's a lot of times labeled as overly sensitive, or what some people might call a snag, which is a sensitive new age guy. But the problem is, as men, if we aren't connected to our emotions, to our feelings, then we really can't experience life the way that it was designed to be. And so if we understand that emotions are just energy in motion, or feelings are the language of the soul. And as men, we have emotions, we have feelings, they're a part of our makeup. And if we aren't willing to express them and to feel them, then there will always be something missing in our lives. So the first illusion is, to be a man, you must be non-emotional and disconnected. And I will say that that is an illusion that every man must wake up to if he truly wants to live an extraordinary life. So illusion number 2. Illusion number 2 is, to be a man, you must use sexual conquest as a gauge for manhood. Now, we've all heard the term sex sells. And if you turn on the media right now, what are you going to see? Sex. Everything is about sex. And so, unfortunately, a lot of men get trapped in this illusion that to be a man, they must use sexual conquest as a gauge for manhood. And so what do? They attempt to sleep with as many women as possible to validate themselves and their masculinity. Once again, this is an illusion. Sleeping with a bunch of women does not make you a man. If you truly want to live an extraordinary life, you must wake up from this illusion and make sure that you understand that there's a huge distinction to be made between sex and making love. And once we wake up from that illusion, then sex is no longer just a physical act. It's an emotional and spiritual act. And that's what we really strive for and crave, I believe. But you have to be willing to wake up from illusion number 2 in order to have that experience. So, illusion number 3 is, to be a man, you must have money and material possessions. So let me assert that there's absolutely nothing wrong with making money and making lots of it. But the problem is, as men, what happens is we sometimes believe that we have to have material things to validate our masculinity. And so what we do in a lot of cases is we try to buy love with our stuff. So if you've ever wondered why as men we always want to try to impress women on the first date by maybe taking them to an expensive restaurant or showing up in a nice car or buying a new suit, well, the reason we do that is because we believe that having money and material possessions is going to make us more attractive. We think that by having stuff, then women will be more attracted to us. And that, my friend, is an illusion. So that's illusion number 3. Illusion number 4 is, to be a man, you must have titles, positions, and power. Once again, this is an illusion. You see, a person with a PhD is really not necessarily a better man than a man who has only a GED. Your educational background does not necessarily make you a better man. A title or a label does not make you a good man. Who you are, your character, is what makes you a good man. And so you have to wake up from this idea that to be a man, you must have titles, positions, and power. The reality is, all you need to have is confidence in yourself as a man, and then you can build everything upon that. And last but not least, illusion number 5 is that to be a man, you must constantly compete with and try to outdo other men. And this is the source of a lot of pain in men's lives, that we're always competing against each other and trying to outdo each other. Have you ever heard the term keeping up with the Joneses? Well, the reason we have that saying is because we think as men that we're constantly supposed to be competing against each other. But life isn't a competition. And men have to be willing to recognize that you don't need any of these things to be a man. To be a man, you simply must declare that you are happy and whole within yourself. And when you do that, you don't have to worry about the illusions. But unfortunately, we live in a culture that promotes these illusions, and I believe that's why so many men are unhappy with their lives. So, as a member of the A New Conversation with Men community, recognize that these illusions are just that. They're just illusions. And it is your responsibility to wake up from those illusions. And when you do, I can assure you, you will begin living an extraordinary life. So think about it. The 5 illusions of manhood. Number 1, to be a man, you must be non-emotional and disconnected. Illusion number 2, to be a man, you must use sexual conquest as a gauge for manhood. Number 3, to be a man, you must have money and material possessions. Illusion number 4, to be a man, you must have titles, positions, and power. And illusion number 5, to be a man, you must constantly compete with and try to outdo other men. Be sure and wake up from those illusions, because when you do, you've now laid the foundation to live an extraordinary life. Think about it.